Hello to you all. Welcome to the full moon of Gemini. So we have this full moon. It's the last one of 2022. So then we will be back in 2023 in January. But for now, let's see what the sky is showing us. So this full moon happens on the 8th of December, exactly at 7 past 4 a.m. So very early in the morning, Portuguese time, of course. And it's a very interesting one. Of course, of full moon can be always quite intense, and this is the case especially because we are speaking about a full moon that happens on the 16th degree of Sagittarius. So the sun is at the 16th degree of Sagittarius, and then the moon is conjunct Mars, which is retrograding in Gemini exactly at 16th. So we have this opposition between the sun and the moon, which is usual. It's what makes a full moon. But we also have the opposition of the sun and Mars, and the conjunction of the moon and Mars. So this can turn out quite intense, especially if when we are speaking about ideas, of beliefs, of knowledge, of decisions, of ideals, and yeah, everything that we take that we take as truth, or that we take as certainty. So this can challenge that. This axis of Gemini and Sagittarius is known for that. On one hand, to be open and curious, open to new perspectives, open to meet new people, to meet new ideas, opinions, everything that is new, that is different from what I know, intellectually speaking. And of course, at the same time, seek to go further, and also choose what makes more sense to me, what resonates as true for me. So this is something that is being challenged. And oppositions in astrology, of course, they usually just mean the need to integrate both, the need to get in contact with something that is totally opposite to what I know, to what I feel, to what is known to me, so that I can broaden my perspective, my horizons. So, and well, horizon here, it can be geographically, but it can also be intellectually, it can be conceptually, it can be spiritually. So this is usually the need, and of course it also speaks about distance, or the concept of distance. What feels near, what feels known, or familiar to me, and what feels totally unknown and uncertain and distant from me, from my ideas, or just from my sight, and from my feeling. So this is usually the axis of Gemini and Sagittarius. But as we have, so, and just letting you know, like, just by having this full moon, of course, we already are invited to to understand where do we feel, um, what areas of our lives, what ideas or what opinions, what perspectives, what people, which people feel familiar to us, feel close to us, um, and that we may feel invited to actually go further or go away, or the opposite may also happen, which is like being away, um, from something and being called to something that is already known or that is familiar, and being confronted by this, um, distant, or this, this conflict, basically, of wanting to be near and not being able to, or being near and not wanting to be near, and wanting to be, further away. So this is the, and when I'm saying this, is not necessarily, in space, in geographically speaking. It's about ideas, it's about perspectives, it's about, beliefs. So either, yeah, enough of examples, I think. Um, but this axis usually just invites us to, um, get in contact with that. But since we have this opposition also of the sun and Mars, and the conjunction between, the moon and Mars, all our impulses and, needs and wishes and desires may get a little stronger. So, um, I may feel, that this, fight, or this, conflict will get me, um, will get on my nerves, and basically it will just, bring all the, frustration, a little bit more to the surface, and it may, um, reinforce something that has been there, wanting to be manifested and want to be accomplished and not being able to, um, or like just feeling that, I'm constantly in this fight, with something, and I can't get past it. Um, so, but again, this is, despite it can get the intensity higher, because the intensity here, of course, has every full moon, it's always a little bit more intense than a new moon. But, this one, it can be a little bit more intense because of Mars, because the presence of Mars, of the warrior, which is also retrograding. So it's already in this kind of bit of chaotic and volatile kind of, um, well, energy, um, or it can bring that out in us. So it's just another moment, another reminder that we have to go back to our resources that allow us to get a clear, or at least a more clear perspective, and a distant, perspective. So we can do what Sagittarius are good at doing, which is, going abroad, to getting further away, so that you can get perspective over something that is feeling like on your nerves, and, like biting your heels. I think it's what. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about this expression, being truth um, in English, but yeah, and like, something that is like really, too close to you, or just to, yeah, really getting on your nerves in some way. So you just get perspective. Another thing that this can, it just reminded me now of a Portuguese song, which is, which says that you never feel, you always want to be exactly where exactly where you're not. So this gives you the sensation of like always feeling that you are not in the right place where you were supposed to be or where you wanted to be. Um, so again, um, this is a reminder of you to just enjoy where you are at now. Um, and the more flexible you can be in that direction, and the more perspective that you can gain, that you can, um, yeah, the better, the clarity, um, of the vision that you have of the present moment, then also you may, yeah, you may be able to enjoy it a little bit more, even if it's not like fully, at least a little. And maybe after the cycle, you'll actually get a little bit more, of the ability to celebrate the movements that you accomplished, without having without being totally immersed in it. Um, yeah. Also, so this full moon is actually supported in some way. Um, so the ruler of the moon and Mars, so the ruler for Gemini, which is Mercury, is in the first degrees of Capricorn. So this brings a little bit more down to earth, and a little bit more, yeah, ability to see things for what they are and for what they're giving you. So bringing you to like grounding yourself, and um, bringing you a little bit more discernment and practical approach, or analytical approach. So this can be really quite helpful at this moment, because since emotions um, and sensations can feel quite overwhelming, because well the ruler for Sagittarius, for the sun, is still in Pisces, bringing the, um, yeah, bringing the face up, but also the downside of it, which is very dreamy and drawn to fantasy. So this can be quite helpful here to help us ground, and at the same time is also actually, the full moon. So both, moon and Mars and sun, are in a very harmonious aspect also with Saturn, so the ruler for Capricorn. So this, for me, I think it's a very positive side of this full moon. Um, the only, well, despite this one, of course, can be challenging, but it really depends on how you take it, and of the tools that you have available to you to be able to again, get a little bit more perspective and not let yourself just like be drawn to conflict, or to, yeah, to be in contact with your impulses and your desires and frustrations or fears or whatever, but not like feeling overwhelmed by them and reacting from them. So getting that perspective, if you have those tools, then I'm sure it will be, um, nothing so difficult. Um, well, depending, of course, if it's touching, something in your personal chart, then it might be a little bit more complicated. But, anyways, it can still be approached in a positive way, and um, taking the learnings that you are just invited to take. Um, So then the aspect that I also um, take from this chart is also a square aspect, so a dynamic or challenging aspect in between Venus, which is in the last degrees of Sagittarius, squaring Jupiter in the last degree of Pisces. By the way, Jupiter is soon going to be moving again into Aries, still in December. Um, but so this squaring, this dynamic aspect in between Venus and Jupiter, it can be quite interesting as well to analyze. So Venus, the goddess of love, the goddess of our personal um, value or self-worth or whatever we want to call it, or of course our resources, the way that we deal with our resources and the way that we feel safe, basically, with oneself or with another person or just in our life. Um, Being in Sagittarius can be super extroverted and sociable and enthusiastic and passionate and bold, even. But since it is in this squaring aspect with Jupiter, which is the ruler for Sagittarius, it can um, intensify or like get our hopes and expectations towards oneself or towards our partners, or even, well, loving relationships in any sense, um, or of course money wise, to our material or possessions or financial stability. It may bring it to an expectation that is just too high, or that is it's not that is impossible to meet, but it can be just too much, and we may not feel able to appreciate what we already have, for example. So it brings like mm, the difference of what we have and what we want it to have. So it may seem just too far away, and it may cause, like, of course, when in the relationship with our partners, for example, it may bring the expectation of something that is from our fantasies, or even money wise, we may feel drawn to spend on something that is like our dreams, and maybe it's far beyond our possibilities. So this is something that we need to be really careful of. So remind ourselves to celebrate and to appreciate what we already have, and just understanding that we are just here to observe again, to understand what we already have. Um, and to understand a little bit more of our our self-worth, and how we maybe also imagining something that is not us, for example, like putting expectations of us being someone different, um, for the sake of, of yeah, only for not being for not feeling enough, or for not feeling content with what we have, with what we are. um so this is just coming from that, from that insatisfaction um with oneself. And so it's just, again, a moment that we can learn a little bit more about that, about what is making me feel um mm, yeah, worthless, or not enough, or my life is not enough, or my possessions are not enough. And so wanting me making me dreaming and wanting something that is distant from myself, from what I have, from whatever. um so I just need to be also aware of this. Where is it coming from? And um the need to readjust, to take the glasses and the expectations, and coming a little bit more to down to earth again. um, Appreciate what we already have, what we are, um, and and still from that place, being able to dream and to trust oneself, to trust my ability also, to accomplish something that I really want, but not expecting that something is going to come and save me, or someone is going to come and save me. Um, so it's not expecting that something around me is going to change, but rather, how can I trust myself to actually go after what I want, or to um, turn into something that I want to be, or so, celebrating what I am and celebrating what I have, and uh, trust that I can accomplish something, that I can dream of something beyond that, but not just putting myself in that box that I'm not enough and that I'll never be able to achieve it, or and like resonating and getting stuck um, in that yeah, unhelpful, and those unhelpful thoughts basically, and those unhelpful expectations. So yeah, it may feel challenging. I just see this moment as an opportunity to just be a little bit more in contact with the opposites of Gemini and Sagittarius, um, fields, and yeah, and it's going to pass as the same way as everything. So we will be back here still this month, on the 23rd, for with the new moon in Capricorn. So we'll see each other again still this year. Um, and I hope you make the best out of this, and that you also realize how many and how yeah how big you are already, and how many resources and knowledge and wisdom you already have. So yeah, big hug to you all, and see you soon.